Good evening. It is March 13th, and tonight is the Finance Committee meeting, and I will be chairing. I'm Linda Stone, and we will begin with roll call to my left.
Ed Tate, School Board.
Jota Bailey, School Board.
Anthony Rapp, Director of Business Administration.
Andy Sanko, Superintendent.
Michael Roosevelt, School Board. Bob Hickey, School Board.
Ann Horner, School Board.
Tracy Oseki, School Board. Nicole Khan, School Board.
Matthew McCarthy, Tech Integration.
Andrea?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Andrew Handel, Director of ISE.
Tammy?
Candy Gary, Supervisor for Human Instruction.
Corey Axler, Choir Director, Council Rock High School South.
Gail Stratton, Orchestra Director at Council Rock High School Board.
Thank you, thank you. And because we are a numbers group of people, I'm going to wish everyone a happy Pi Day, P-I, because tomorrow is March 14th, 3.14. Anyone else want to continue that number along for Pi? Happy Pi Day. And now, take it away, Mr. Rapp.
Thank you, Ms. Stone. Before we begin, a reminder that for the most accurate and reliable information concerning our district, please refer to resources, websites, and social media platforms managed by the Council Rock School District. We advise the community to exercise caution when relying on the accuracy of social media and ask the community to verify any social media content with the district for accuracy. If you question what you are seeing, need a fact check, or additional details on a matter, please reach out to the district directly. Our contact information is readily available on our website at www.crsd.org. Thank you. So we're going to begin. The Finance Committee agenda for tonight is to approve a dishwasher replacement at Council Rock South High School, award the least wide area network bid, approve agreement with Atlas for the curriculum management system, approve Council Rock South High School choir trip to Germany and Austria, approve Council Rock North High School orchestra trip to Ireland, and schedule a budget meeting for the 25-26 budget process. So the first item on the agenda is to approve a dishwasher replacement at Council Rock South High School. We would like to purchase a new Hobart conveyor dishwasher, including installation, from Singer, who is a CoStarz vendor, in the amount of $145,886.91. The dishwasher that we're replacing was installed when the building was built in 2002. We would like to install it during the summer 2025, and it will be expensed in the 25-26 fiscal year. We will have to pay for half of it, but we won't expense it until next year because we can't expense it until it's installed. Costs must come from the general fund since the high schools are not on the school nutrition program. A similar dishwasher was installed at Council Rock School District North in 2022. But we do need, these are larger dishwashers than the dishwashers that are in the elementary and middle schools. We do need to have bigger ones in there. And just our market, part of the bid process was we required any bidder for the food service contract that they would provide us with an inventory of kitchen equipment, including age and expected replacement dates, so we can better plan for these purchases. We're trying to get a handle on what equipment we have, when it might need to be replaced, so we can have better planning. And just to remind everyone that since the high schools are not on the food and nutrition plan, and we put money in there until we have an amount established in those fund balances, we have to pay for this out of the general fund. This was not budgeted, but we do have some room in the facilities budget. When you look at the price, we did purchase a dishwasher for North a few years ago that is about $40,000, or actually closer to $50,000 less than the cost of this. This dishwasher, because of the location and where it is going in South, has about $38,000 of retrofitting to accommodate the location where it's to accommodate it to go into South. So there is additional cost to install this, but it is generally the same size dishwasher that North got. But because of the location and, you know, built with the construction, I guess, there are some retrofits that need to take place. It was about 38,000. It's actually, it's probably closer to about, and the rest of the cost difference is due to 2 years later and things have, the prices have increased over the last couple of years. So that's why it is more expensive.
Any questions?
None.
Mr. Roosevelt?
A very expensive dishwasher. I've seen less expensive autoclaves get put in with drains and supply lines. What's going on here? I recognize that food equipment is more expensive, but aren't we replacing something that's going in the same spot as the one was before? Is it the same dimensions? Is it
Same
using-
dimensions,
Is it using the same supply lines and drain lines
Right, but the dishwasher has to be modified to accommodate it.
for 38 grand?
Yeah.
Is it like got radioactive lead around it or
No.
something? I mean, I don't know. This seems excessive, but I understand we need one.
Singer is the company?
Yes.
Did you, I'm sorry.
Good, good.
Singer is a company we're
Singer is
purchasing
the
it
company
from.
purchasing it from
and
and
Hobart.
doing the installation?
Yes,
And did they do the one that was in, no.
yes.
Ms. Khan?
Thank you. Will it then, if we replace it in 20 years, would we still need to infer that cost for the retrofitting and installation? Is that going to be an ongoing thing, or is it just this one-time situation?
I wouldn't, in 20 years, I would most likely need the same retrofitting.
Okay. And North doesn't have this problem?
No.
Thank you.
Ms. Oseki?
A naive question, because I'm sure you guys looked at this, but if it costs $38,000 to put the dishwasher where we told them we want it, is there another place that we could put the dishwasher that's $38,000 less?
I would, not without a renovation.
Plumbing? Drains? Yes.
What kind of warranty does it come with?
I will have to get you an answer for that. I can't look at it right now.
Would it be too difficult to provide a couple pictures, at least, for the whole board? But I'd like to understand the condition.
Okay, I mean, there is, under board docs, is the quote and
I saw-
what all is included.
Yeah, but I didn't see pictures and I didn't see any
Okay, I can give you the
diagrams or
drawing.
sketches.
There are sketches that were approved by our facilities.
All right.
We can provide those.
Yes, Ms. Pally?
So did you get other bids for this?
No, we did not, but there's not a lot of players in this game, and Hobart is the product. Yeah,
You have to go with them because they're like,
well, it's the quality of the product that we want.
I mean, this did last 23 years. This was also a Hobart. I mean, Hobart's been
Yes.
number one in,
I mean, it does sound
Commercial.
like huge, but if that's what the price is for something like that, as long as it is the product that we need and the quality that we need, but it would be good to know other options. I mean, if there are, and if they're not, they're not.
is Hobart also what we have at North?
Yes.
And you said
It's
it totally,
the exact same situation where we went directly to Singer because that's who, they're the distributor for Hobart in this area.
yeah. Mr. Egan?
Is the current dishwasher non-functioning?
Close to non-functioning. It's out of its useful life and
And it's not repairable?
no, that's what I'm told. I'm not a dishwasher expert.
We could hire a few people.
Yeah. I like Mr. Rose, it just seems an exorbitant price.
Doesn't-
It just seems like that
It does.
certain places, not to say that it's just Singer, but they know that they have us over a barrel.
Well, you described it like in our pre-meeting, like it's a conveyor belt system.
Yes.
It's like very different than, even a restaurant dishwasher.
And it's different than what you have in elementary school and middle school, because you're processing so much more.
So there is the added usage because there are more students at South. And we have to process those trays and dishes quickly to get through, with it 5 lunch periods or 4 lunch periods. So, this is fitting to meet our needs for the, but we do have sketches that were approved. We can add them, we can get them sent to the board.
Are we putting this on for consent? And Tony, you'll still forward any photos that you have?
We'll get photos. I don't know if there's photos with the sketches, but we'll get the photos of it. And we'll include it. We'll send them out to the board, and then we'll what should be included in the, we should include it with the agenda.
Yeah, but just a
Mr. Tate?
little question, Mr. Rapp. You may not know the answer to this. I apologize for putting you on the spot. But since there's 1,926 students at South, looking at this month, November of last year, do you have any guess as to what percentage gets school lunch every day?
I do not.
No, it's a tough question. But I'll just point out, the school has 19,026 students, so this dishwasher that we're talking about is not what I have in my, 1,900, is not what I have in my kitchen.
Well, we don't, there's meals that are included, but we don't have, because we're not on the program, we don't keep track of meals in the high schools the same way we keep track of meals in the other schools. So we have like an established meal that has to be purchased in order to count as a meal. We don't have that requirement in other schools.
Right, yeah, that's true. Anyway, it's a lot of students.
All right, do we want to move on to the next item?
Is this consent or not consent?
Is anyone objecting to putting this on consent?
I mean, we're missing one board member, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know.
I'll have to check with Joe.
Is anyone objecting though here?
No.
Okay.
Begrudgingly.
Put it on consent.
Exactly.
Put it under Spella and Charybdis.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is to award the least wide area network bid. This is to supply fiber to district buildings in the 25-26 school year. We went out to bid and we only received one bid from Crown Castle in the amount of $21,739.08 per month, or $260,868.96 per year. Crown Castle is our current vendor, and of that cost, approximately 40% will be refunded by the federal E-rate program, which is because we're supplying, we get a certain amount of money back because of supplying internet to students who are
Economically disadvantaged.
economically disadvantaged.
I don't mean to put a wrench in anything, but how guaranteed is this federal program? I'm not,
I can tell you that we get that from the federal government. I can't begin to make, and we've gone over this a couple times. I sent out what we get in federal money, what we've gotten, and what we plan to get. I can't answer where we're gonna end up with these, if anything changes. So I can't answer that. I can just tell you what I expect to get. And
so we
I
may,
would say that-
we may
say
eat
that, you know,
the total cost.
all or part
I
of
don't
it
know.
could be at risk. I don't have any idea.
Right. Yes, Ms. Khan?
We get the refund at the end of the year when we paid the entire 12
Yes.
months? Okay.
Okay.
And was it, wait, sorry. So that was the best deal, obviously, you said for the month versus for the year, you negotiate, but there was no negotiation,
There was no.
because there was one bid and that was
One
it.
bid.
Okay,
And it's the same one that we've been using, so
Okay.
we don't have any cost to change over.
okay, thank you.
Tony, I don't know if you remember, you may, Matt may also remember. Didn't we pay for upgrading fiber a couple of years ago? Didn't we do that, or was that specific between one school and another or something? Don't we already
We've
have
done
this
upgrade,
direct fiber?
this isn't for upgrade, this is for supplying. But we don't own the fiber that goes between our buildings,
Ah.
so they supply it. So we're paying to use the fiber and for the service of using it.
Okay, is the lease up, is that what this is? then?
You have to renew it every year and apply for your new rate.
Okay,
So you can't do more than 1 year at a time.
right.
What we talked about most recently with fiber is that Durham was paying for the fiber to the bus depots.
I remember that. And I thought we had something a couple of years ago with connection with one of the renovated schools, something about installing fiber. This goes back a couple of years. I may be wrong, but it's an interesting program or interesting network that they're indicating.
I believe
Dark fiber and.
dark fiber, yeah. And you can see the type of fiber that we're buying in the document that was included in board docs. But
Right, yeah. That had more diagrams than the dishwasher, by the way, this one.
Ms. Oseki?
So usually when I see something that's like, oh, it's, X per month or Y for the year, there's a discount. And I just did the math. There's no discount for the whole year. It's just, that's what it is. Yeah. Okay, and there's no discount we can get. It's just what it is.
I mean, we don't have a whole lot of leverage.
But
We
pay-
need it at
we pay
every
on-
building for the entire 12 months?
Yes.
But it's paid monthly.
Yes.
Yes, Ms. Khan?
What did we pay last year, since we said it was the same provider, do you know?
I don't know. Okay. I think it's pretty close.
Similar, okay.
Any other questions?
We have people in every building all year long.
Yeah.
Ms. Polly?
So I understand they are the current provider. Do we have other options or we're pretty much stuck with it?
We don't have to bid, and this was going to respond. So.
Oh, okay. I mean, which are required services. You
Yes,
have to
we
have
require
it,
the
yeah.
service. Yes. 20 years ago, you did not, but now you do.
I'm good.
All right. Are we, any objections?
Does this include, when you say all buildings, sorry,
That's all right.
when you say all buildings, is it literally all buildings? Do we have this at the Sale House? Do we have this at Richboro Middle School?
We do have it at, I don't believe we have it at the Sale House, but any school building, Star Center.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that the Star Center would need it, but
Anywhere that-
I wonder about
We'd be in
buildings
Richboro
that
Middle,
are.
but it's, we don't have that turned off because there's still a building there. And we still have to run, we run things through the network such as our heating systems, so.
Oh.
So,
We're good?
yeah, and something like Sale House would not be included in that, but.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move on.
The next item is to approve the agreement with Atlas for Curriculum Management System. I'll go through the slide in a second, but I just wanted to welcome Tammy Gary, who's here to answer any questions you may have that I'm not able to answer regarding this. So this was presented at the education meeting by Tammy on February 27th. It was solicited through a request for quotation process. We solicited 3 companies, so in this type of process, we go talk to 3 companies that we would like to see what their program does and have them come in and tell us what the costs are. Power School, the program did not meet the district needs. Curriculum Works was the most expensive program, but the program did not meet that the program also did not meet the district needs. This was the program best suited to meet district needs. We will be requiring teachers to use this program, and this is for them to, for us to push our curriculum to teachers. Is that correct? Okay. The setup of the program will begin the day after the board meeting on March 21st of 2025. The cost for the program per year is, in year one, which is the remainder of this year, will be $2,833. In the following year, it'll be $38,500. That does include a significant amount of training for that year. Same thing with the next year, $46,384. Significant amount of training, $2,772 in 27-28, $39,160 in 28-29, and $29,30 in 29-30, $49,560. The reason that the costs escalate like that through the contract is we are being given a significant discount in the beginning for the software, and when you get to the last year, we're closer to what the actual cost of the software would be. So we are, as you can see, besides the training in years 2 and 3, we're only paying about $8,500 and $16,384, and it goes up to about that $50,000 cost in the final year of this contract. We did check on the contract does include, just based on some questions that were asked, contract does include a 45-day notification period, where if we decide we don't like the contract, we give them 45 days notice and we can exit the contract. But generally, something like this, you're building it over the period, and it's something that when you get to the last, as it goes through, you've got the program set where you want it.
Any questions?
You did receive the cost for, at the note.
I sent, at the last meeting, somebody asked the question about the cost when we had curriculum connector. I sent the board the cost for that.
Oh, yes.
Annie, still here? Did you have anything you want to say?
Dr. Crane next. No, the teachers, I know the question was asked about the teachers' input with it. We did share full-day kindergarten, the setup with it. We just met with 10th grade ELA, and the teachers were very excited for it. A couple came from other districts that already had it, and especially just having the common template or framework of understanding by design, and having the communication to put everyone on the same page across the district between schools. So they're very excited for all of that. So everybody's looking forward to it. So that makes me very excited, because it means we're going to have a great strength in the curriculum and the programs. And then we could attach with it, link it, is our data warehouse management system. That would link to it as well. So it brings together the integration of some programs so that we could use the data. And Tom Barnes working with our data and the schools to see how our scores are and how we can improve. All the systems kind of link together then. So we're excited.
Great, thank you. Didn't want you to come here and not
Thanks for
have an audience.
Come here.
Oh,
I was just gonna say, I appreciate the due diligence that you've all put into it, involving teachers in the decision, and I think it's impressive the extent that you went to make sure you were getting the best product.
We also have, just as a note for this, an implementation manager that we'd work with. That's why the start date is the 21st. It takes 9 to 12 weeks. And with them, we've already created kind of the action plan that goes with it. So we can't officially start anything until the contract is signed. But as you can see, kind of it's multiple pages of all the different trainings that will take place. So it's not just buying like a warehouse where you put things. It's the training that goes into how we develop curriculum, how you use the curriculum, and all the facets of it. So it's more than just a sedentary thing.
Sounds awesome.
Ms. Pally?
So, Tammy, if I understand correctly, this will also make the curriculum more transparent for the parents, right?
Yes. Okay. So when, that I think was a $550 extra charge for it, that you could go, everything will be housed on the website. So we're finalizing right now the curriculum instruction pages for the website. And under curriculum, one of them will be about the course documents. So when you click on that, it will have the listing of all the courses, and it has the little menu where you could pick by subject, grade, everything like that. And then when it comes up, you just click on the courses. So we have hundreds of courses. So you pick that. When you click on it, it'll take you, it will show you kind of it's all based on units. So when you click on the unit, it will show you the understanding by design. It'll give you all the information that's there. The content, the assessments will be listed there, resources. And then you could click on to see the kind of scope and sequence, where it'll give you the months at the top and then how long the units are. So a parent could go on and see what's being covered, what the assessments are, and kind of the bigger picture of how long the units would take. So,
Thank you.
one-stop shopping.
Quick, curious question. Does the district have to manually input all of that, or does it somehow grab from some system that we currently have?
It's combination of both. So for example, full day kindergarten has written theirs using the Understanding by Design template by hand. That will be able to be moved over. But if it's not in that format, you won't be able to. So we created all the planned course documents last year. So those all contain course descriptions. So all the course descriptions will be able to be moved over. And then once the documents are there, so you have the public side and you have the private side that the teachers access. So once everything is in, when it comes to you for approval, then the approval dates would be on it as well. So when you're on the cycle, anybody looking can see when it was approved, that it was approved, what was in for the approval. So if there's any questions, everything's transparent there for them to see.
Great, thank you.
Sure. Awesome. Thanks for coming, Tammy.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you for.
Thank you.
Have a good
Thank you for hanging around. We do have some dedicated employees here a lot of dedicated employees here at Council Rock. I also wanted to add before I move on that Jess Binda texted me that she will get those pictures in the morning. So the next item on the agenda is to approve the Council Rock South High School choir trip to Germany and Austria. With us tonight to help talk about this subject is Corey Axler. He's the South Choir Director. So he'll be here to answer any questions about this trip and how we're putting this together.
If I could just jump in, Tony. Abby Stratton from Council Rock North is here with us as well. And this will be something a little bit new and different for the board. The board has been accustomed to approving the well-known and popular Florida trips. The music trips we've had for the last 2 or 3 years, Corey, we put a moratorium on international trips, just given the way of the world. And, excuse me, we're looking for consistency by way of, if they're a Council Rock sponsored trip, then we want to go through the same process that we do with the Florida trips for our students. And so there were some granular questions about chaperones and costs, and payments and timelines. So that's why we asked our 2 music experts here tonight to join us. So go ahead, Tony.
So this first trip is a trip to Germany and Austria for the Council Rock South Choir. The agreement is with a company called Music Festivals and Tours. The cost is estimated to be between $3,885 to $3,995 per student, and the trip will be paid for by the students and their families.
How long is it?
The dates are March 25th through April 2nd, 2026. So it's 9 days, yes.
Is that over spring break?
Yes.
Go ahead, Nikki.
Ms. Oseki, Ms. Khan,
Uh,
wants to go first?
What grades is it for?
9 through 12.
Can you share the rotation cycle, what we do in our music program, Corey?
Traditionally, what we've done in the past is we do, each performing ensemble gets 1 year to do a large trip. Our current rotation for Council Rock South is an orchestra trip, band trip, choir trip with a year off.
Okay.
Given the financial factor, we have a year to recover, our community recover, and then go back into that rotation.
So my question was going to be approximately how many students do we have going and adults this year, I guess, with?
We haven't announced the trip yet, but we're of course waiting for approval.
Okay.
We're hoping.
Probably have some interest already though.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Hoping probably around 70 plus.
Wow, okay.
All goes well.
With students and adults and staff?
Students and staff members, yes.
Both trips that we're talking about tonight are for 2026.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay. And then my other question was going to be, I know it says up there the fees, the cost is covered by the students or their families. What happens with students that would like to go or able to go and are not able to afford it? I'm assuming there's ways for
Yes.
financial support.
Many fundraising opportunities. We've had students in the past who have been very diligent and have fundraised their entire trip. It is not a mandatory trip, so students do not have to go, but students who want to will make the effort to fundraise.
Thank you.
Start fundraising pretty much almost as soon as the trip is announced.
So every student that has an interest to go.
Has that opportunity.
Okay, thank you.
Go ahead.
Who's, Ms. Hickey?
No, she was first, then Ed, then me.
Ed?
I'll come back to me.
I thought Tracy already.
Come back to me.
Okay.
All right, yeah,
Mr. Tate.
I've spoken before about my concern about the rising expenses for parents, and that includes sports, that includes a lot of activities. And, you know, our family is really a big fan of overseas study and sports and all sorts of opportunities. I worry about families that are less able financially to pay for a trip like this. Are there scholarships available? I think we've had that conversation about Disney, for example. Are there scholarships available for these trips?
I wouldn't say that we've not done formal scholarships, although we've done sponsorships. We've reached out to local communities and businesses, establishments, asking to help sponsor children. It's been done in the past. That is definitely an opportunity. We don't have any formal scholarships set up at this point.
Scholarships, sponsorships, same thing in my view. So in the past, some students have had their expenses covered
Yes.
for them. And that can be done confidentially.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have a sense any given year as to how many students opt out and how many of them might opt out because of cost?
In the past, we've actually given students an opportunity to take an anonymous survey and ask them, what would be your reasons for not traveling overseas? The majority of them would be one of two things: missing school or financial. I would say in the years past that I've gone on these trips and put them together, I would say about 75 to 80% of my students would go on these trips.
Well, I know from experience that they have a great time. I am concerned about cost.
Which is one of the reasons why we only do it once every 4 years. Versus some of our neighboring school districts will have a trip every year, but it would be somewhere closer. But in the end, as I've been looking at the research, they're actually spending more money over a 4-year period versus a one trip in 4 years.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you're saying this is going to be next March. Is there, and you rotate every year, so was there a trip this
There's a-
March.
This coming April, the marching band is going to be going to Puerto Rico
Okay.
at South.
And then, the year before would have been the orchestra.
That was the Hawaii trip.
Ms. Oseki?
Bob can go first, but then.
Oh, Mr. Hickey, sorry.
Yeah, a couple questions. My first one is there any liability to the district at all in this trip?
Financially,
No.
Insurance.
Something happens to somebody, you know, whether, just say they break their leg, I'll just use a mild one. I just want to make sure there's no liability to the district if something would happen to one of our students while they're overseas.
There's no uncovered liability. There's no uncovered liability. We have an insurance policy that covers students on international trips.
Second,
Well, I should say, there's no uncovered liability above our deductible.
Above a deductible.
second question, you mentioned chaperones. Where do the chaperones come from?
they are staff members within the district.
Are the staff members, so they aren't necessarily associated with either the orchestra or the choir, is that correct?
We've had chaperones that were both music teachers, and sometimes we've had language teachers, depending on where we're going. When we went to Costa Rica back in 2015, we had a Spanish teacher go with us. When we went to Italy, I took Ms. Barford, who's our Latin teacher, and she's very knowledgeable in Italy. She was our chaperone.
The chaperones and anyone else associated that's not a student, I'm assuming that they also are paying freight?
They're not actually, the way the tour company works, they factor in X amount of chaperones for the amount of students that travel.
So, can I go on the trip? So if I wanted to go, so that means I'm for free if I'm a chaperone?
You have to get clearance.
And, no, seriously though, I mean, because you have, Ed brought up a good point, and I'll look at it from the point, and I think you said it was over spring break.
Yes.
Is the orchestra trip also over spring break?
The band trip is,
Or the band?
yes, it's over.
It's a question for both, because, you know, the concern I have is, you're a senior in high school, you have, you know, you gotta come up with four grand for this trip, then you're coming up with another couple $1,000s for your senior trip. But in the interim, if I'm a teacher, you know, I'm getting to go to Florida, I'm getting to go to Germany, and I could go to Ireland for free.
I can tell you from experience that although it's an amazing opportunity for us as chaperones, we are working 18 hours a day. We don't sleep.
Kinda like being a parent.
That's right. Your ear to the hotel room.
Since the
Yes, Mr.
conversation seems to be being combined into both,
Yeah.
can I show the slide for the other trip so we can?
Oh, sure. Good idea.
There's also the trip to Ireland again in 2026 for the North Orchestra. This agreement is with KI Concerts. Cost is estimated to be between $3,895 and $4,025 per student, so similar costs, and it'll be paid again by students and their families. So we have both trips combined. And when I got to I'm gonna welcome Abigail Stratton, the North Orchestra Director, for being here to answer any questions on this trip.
And again, the timing on the trip to Ireland?
Yes,
For
the dates
North?
are, we leave Tuesday night, March 24th of 2026, and we come back March 30th, which is a Monday, the Monday of spring break.
So it's a shorter.
Yes, ours is the 16th.
Okay,
Miss Polly?
I think this is
Oh,
for-
Miss
Yeah, and
Osei.
then I think Anne's after me, sorry. Yeah, I have a couple questions. So the first one is, I like the idea of the rotating schedule, but I'm wondering if some students participate in marching band and in orchestra and, you know, whatever. So some kids it is 4,000 every year, and maybe it is only 3 out of 4 years, but that's significant. Is that correct? Some
That's
kids
correct.
do most? Do you think most are in more than one or no?
No, I would say maybe 10 to 15%
Okay.
of students fall in that category.
With an orchestra also, this is a symphonic orchestra, so we do experience wind and brass and percussion instruments coming, so we oftentimes see a little bit of the mix of band kids do come on these trips.
Yeah, I mean, it's a ton of money, especially if you're doing, you know, the senior trip and other trip. And, you know, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it. I fully support it. I think international trips are, you know, amazing experiences, but it is a lot of money. I was wondering about the chaperone to student ratio.
One per,
I think
One
it's 10.
per, hold on a second. We should have that information.
The agreement was 1 for 10.
1 per
Yes,
10,
it was 1
yes.
per 10, one chaperone per 10 students.
Does that work well in your experience? This isn't like, you know, what is that thing about kids gone wild or something? It's not happening here.
Well, in the past experiences, we've seen that students pretty much maintain themselves pretty well.
I mean, I know these are good kids who
But
are,
our chaperones also are very diligent. It's worked in the past.
Okay.
Having one chaperone for 10 students.
and then my last question is, the tour companies, how do you vet them? And does anybody from the tour company go with you?
So, yes, so KI Concerts has been a part of our kind of tour rep for a long time. And actually, this tour company was the company that took me on my Greece trip when I was a freshman in Council Rock South. And it's actually the very same agent that we're working with. That's funny. And yes, he does come along on these trips.
Okay.
So he comes along and he pretty much is with us there 24/7.
Okay.
But if I could add, we do actually go out and vet, and we say, this is the trip we're trying to put together, and we reach out to 4 or 5 tour companies. Generally speaking, the ones that we have chosen, which is also music festivals, the company that I've used for 25 years tends to be the most reliable and most cost efficient, same for KI. But we use both.
Thank you.
Ms. Warner, did you have a question?
I want to comment. So I know a lot of families that have gone on these trips, the choir, and they're fabulous. You guys have done an amazing job. Yeah. And the fundraising, I have always gone, because a lot of parents I know from the band and choir and everybody send me all that stuff. So I'm always getting that out to our community, I think would be advantageous to everyone, because I think it does come into our community, but it doesn't really get out all the way. But I think with your fundraising that you guys have done and increasing that will help.
Absolutely, thank you.
Mr. Hickey?
One final question, as we talked about liability. You have 17 and 18-year-old kids going to Germany. I'm not sure what the alcohol policy is in Ireland,
So
but in Germany, I know that the drinking age is not 18, so how do we deal with that conflict?
So, you want me to go? So at the front end, I said we wanted consistency, and if we're going to endorse this, then it's a school-sponsored trip. It would be no different than getting on a bus to go to Neshaminy and play a band concert or a football game. It's still a school-sponsored event, and our policies would still apply.
Okay.
And we have sent kids home who were caught doing things they shouldn't be doing.
Appreciate that. Good luck.
Ms. Polly?
Yay! Okay, so first I want to say that to go on this trip as a chaperone, it's a huge responsibility.
Yes.
And it is a lot of work. I know you're not on vacation, there's no maximum enjoying, so thank you for doing that. And everybody who volunteers to go. And of course, we should be covering the expenses because it is, we have to look after the children. I am very happy you have the fundraising, and I think these are tremendous experiences for our students, and even beyond the actual, music part, just be a citizen, somewhere else, and holding the values of Council Rock and behavior when they're there. That's very important learning experience. I want to know if after all the fundraising, if someone feels short of financially, would Council Rock be able to chip in and help students, families, because we don't want to hold them back. I mean, I wish there's a way for us to help these students. I don't know if the board can do something about that. How many cases, maybe we find out how, if we're short and figure out the amounts, and maybe come to the board and see if we can help.
So as Corey and Abby said, there are other avenues that we use. Some are school-specific. There are some folks, I worked with Jason Truskevich a year ago, I guess it was, on the last trip. And we have some very generous people in the community that help us with partial and sometimes, as Corey said, paying the full trip, because as Mr. Tate said, when you add that dollar amount with a Disney trip dollar amount, that's pretty staggering. So we try to help every student we can along the way, but it's best to work through Abby and Corey or the music liaison, and then through the school building administration when there's a need.
I mean, I would just open the door in case there is a need for the board to intervene, just let us know. I'm sure we'll consider, whatever we can do to help.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult balancing act to figure out what families need the money and what families are working hard to support it. They could probably need it also. So I know there's a bit of a balancing act. Has CREF ever helped support?
I don't know the answer to that question. I will say thank you, because I know a ton of work goes into the upfront planning and talking to 5 different vendors and so forth. And I also know kids who've gone on these trips, and it's the experience of a lifetime. So thank you for doing it.
Thank you, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
See you.
Thanks.
Thank you both.
Bob wants to chaperone, I heard.
Yeah, I put my name in.
Thursday night on such short notice.
Maybe I'll be retired by then.
No, maybe the board gets first right of,
I have my clearances.
right?
We will definitely have a social media presence for both of our
Okay,
trips.
good.
And we'll inform the community so they can follow along with what we're doing as we're going. And both of us will probably have, I imagine, farewell concerts as well. We can invite
Yes,
the
we're
members
gonna
of
be
the
having
school board.
farewell concerts.
Farewell concert. Okay.
So,
It
Well-
will not be official until next Friday.
correct. We have not said anything to our students.
How you know now?
No, well, yes, if someone's following this meeting there, they don't know. But thank you, everyone, again. Thank you for your time.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Have a nice
Yeah.
day.
See you.
So we shall put these as consent items? No one arguing that? Okay.
Next item on the agenda is to schedule a budget meeting to talk about the 25-26 budget. We are working diligently on the budget in our spare time. We'd like to arrange a meeting with the board to discuss the budget. It would be a public meeting later on in March. We're recommending at this point to see what the board thinks of Monday, March 24th at 7 p.m.
We have an MBIT.
Okay. That's not good.
We'll make it.
What is it?
Monday, March 24th, but there's a MBIT meeting. Okay.
What is it? Oh, the
Now for the budget.
We're usually done before 7 now.
Do you want to do 7:30? I mean,
No, it's a committee of the whole meeting.
You
We're
think so?
fine. Yeah.
On Wednesday, the 26th?
Yeah, what about another?
I'd be safer on Wednesday, the 26th.
What do you,
I don't, no, Wednesday 26th out for me.
It's not good for you.
It's not good for me.
Are you good then to run right down here?
What's that?
You good too?
That's a Friday.
Been a lot on the schedule.
The 25th?
Education committee,
There's never anything on this night.
full day.
Committee of the whole meeting,
With the-
make it 7:15.
So that week, just for everyone's reference, on Tuesday of that week, the 27th at 7 p.m., we have a full-day kindergarten stakeholder meeting. And then on Thursday, the 27th at 7 o'clock, we have an education committee meeting. So
Is the 31st too far away?
No. We should have it sooner, Mike.
I know, but
We're good on it.
There's
We
no
can make,
on the 30th.
hey, we have policy meetings on Mondays. It's a conflict with us as well, so. I think we'll be good. Can you make it 7:15, just in case? It gives me an extra 15 minutes to drive back from
I think that's fine.
Jamison.
7:15,
On the 24th.
the 24th, Monday, the 24th at 7:15.
Yeah, it gives me an extra 15 minutes.
15 minutes to prepare?
Yeah.
You guys can all-
Well, now we know all those slides will be ready.
Yeah.
No, I think we need to have this meeting sooner rather than later,
Yeah.
you know, with the budget.
We'd also like to present a budget form again this year, like we presented last year. Hopefully it'll be better attended.
That will be.
So, the next, so that's it for the agenda tonight.
All right.
Okay, there goes my co-chair.
Upcoming agenda items, the audit results, I know I've been saying this for a while. The auditors actually were back out last week and this week through no fault of ours. We've been providing them with everything they've needed as they've asked for it. They've had some turnover in their department and we're really up against the end of the month. The end of the month is pretty much our deadline for supplying our audit to different entities. So we have to get the audit complete and at least get a draft of it out to our banks and bondholders. So they promised me up and down that they'll have it ready by the date that we need it, but just not. We're not happy that we're going this late up against that period. So.
That's because you're not our auditor anymore.
Yeah.
And we're glad you're not.
And we're glad you're here. All right,
We have, we went out to bid for computer purchases for next year. Replacement computers, so we're gonna have those results at an upcoming meeting. We are, not next month, but hopefully by May, we have to go out to bid for our printers and copiers this year. Our contract is up and it's something we must go out to bid for, and I wouldn't have it any other way. So we'll go out to bid for those and get those results upcoming, and of course, the 25-26, we'll be discussing that ad nauseum.
do we not have anything about finance related to master plan, either in this meeting or upcoming agenda items?
As far as, I mean, we presented the finance, our current ability to borrow. I think we were talking about at the last meeting that we wanted to get some sort of idea of where we want to go and then get financing for it. I think the financing for that will mostly be presented at the facilities meetings. So the next step would be to have some projects in mind and get like a draw schedule and sit down with BFM to put together a plan where, what we would need to borrow when. If I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
is that accurate? Okay.
Does that still fit in the timeline for our budget? Then the next facilities is until that can be added.
Well, I just say this, before we worry about
That,
we want to make sure we're covered under the Ackland Index for what we need, what we are spending, so.
Okay.
So,
thank you.
but I would think that, I think we've been clear that there's gonna have to be some increases over the years in order to pay for some projects that we have to do. So, we can look at that as part of this plan, as part of the budget, regardless of whether or not we know exactly what we're doing.
okay. Any other comments tonight? Then I call this meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, bravo.